we're going to talk about the harvest. Who wants to be a part of the harvest? Well, I've got my first picture here. If you remember, Passover is the barley harvest. Shavuot is the wheat harvest. In Revelation, you hear about the grape harvest. That is because it's going to be during the time of the grape harvest. But let's begin. The Lord loves giving examples around agriculture. So, if you remember the story of the wheat and the tares, in Matthew 13, 29 and 30, they had grown up together. And he said, no, lest while you gather up the tares, you also root up the wheat. So he said, let both grow together until the harvest. In the time of the harvest, I will tell the reapers, gather together first who? And bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Where's God's barn? His barn, if you remember, the temple was built on the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. His barn is like on the Temple Mount. But he's there to grab the tares. How do you know the difference between a tare and a wheat when harvest comes? The tare is standing proud, and the wheat, because of all the fruit, is bowing. So it's easy to separate the two. Now, what does Messiah say? He says the enemy is the one who sowed them. And where does he sow the tares? In the wheat field. Where does the enemy come? Into the church. The harvest is the end of the world, and who are the reapers? The angels. Let's jump over to Matthew 24. Everyone's familiar with this verse 40 and 41. Two will be in the field, one will be taken, and the other one left. Two women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken, and the other one left. Okay, where is the one taken? It says where the vultures are gathered, that's where they're taken. How many of you ever heard that before? Let me, okay, here, just a second, I'll give you the verse, because this, I know what I'm telling you is shocking. In Luke 17, he talks about, remember Lot's wife, and then in verse 34, I tell you in the night there'll be two in one bed, one will be taken, one left. There'll be two grinding together, one taken will be left. Two will be in the field, one taken and one left. And verse 37, they say, where are they taken? And he said, wherever the body is, that's where the eagles are gathered together. One of these taken is not good. Have you ever seen that? You're exactly right. It's like the tare. Gather the tare first, throw them in the fire, and then the wheat gather in my barn. All right, let's look at this verse. This is Matthew 8, verse 11 and 12. I say unto you that many are going to come from the east and the west. They're going to sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom are going to be cast into outer darkness where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. What? How many of you seen that one? Okay, and this outer darkness and gnashing of teeth refers to the tribulation. All right, let's look at Matthew 22, verse 2 and 5. The kingdom of heaven is like a certain king which made a marriage for his son. Who is this marriage for? Yeshua. And so what does he do? He sent his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding. In Leviticus 23:2, where it talks about the feast of the Lord, it says you're to proclaim them. And that word there, kara, means to call. In particular, it's those who are invited. The call to the wedding, it's time for the wedding, is to those who have been invited. And so here we see They're calling those that were invited to the wedding, and they wouldn't come. Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, tell those who are invited or bidden, I prepared my dinner, my oxen and my fatlings are killed, and everything is ready. Come to the marriage. But they made light of it, went their ways, one to his farm, one to his merchandise. How many of you want to be at the wedding of the Messiah? Yes. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Okay? If you want to be at the wedding, you need to be at the dress rehearsal. Yes. This is why we keep all the feasts. We don't just talk about the feasts, we do the feasts. We do Rosh Hashanah, we do Yom Kippur. It has different meanings. Okay, obviously there's no temple, but we do what we can do.
We will resume this teaching after a short message from International School of the Word.
This teaching is one lesson taken from a full course on isow.org. If you are enjoying this video, we invite you to check out the full course in the links below. For the best value, try our All Access Pass. At just $99 per month, you can access thousands of hours worth of high-quality, world-class teaching. To check local pricing in your country, visit isow.org. For more great teachings like this, be sure to subscribe to this channel and follow us on our social media platforms.
Now, back to this teaching from International School of the Word.
So here, it's all about commercialism, the ephah. They're more concerned about making money than they are attending the wedding. So look what happens in Matthew 22, 8 through 14. He said to his servants, the wedding is ready, but those who were invited aren't worthy. Go therefore into the highways, as many as you find, bid them to the marriage. So the servants went out to the highways, gathered together all as many as they found, both what? Our job is not to clean people. Our job is to get them and let God do the cleaning. The problem is when we try to clean them. We are supposed to invite everybody. So the wedding was furnished with guests, and when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there was someone who didn't have on a wedding garment. What is that talking about, a wedding garment? Well, it goes on to say, and he said to him, friend, he's a friend, how come you came in here not having on a wedding garment? And the guy was speechless. And so the king said to the servants, bind him hand and foot, take him away, cast him into outer darkness where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are called, but few are chosen. This is getting interesting. What does it mean those that were bidden to come didn't come, but then both the bad and good are invited, but one didn't have on a wedding garment? Well, during that day, if you are a king and you have your son and you're going to have a wedding, you know there are poor people in your kingdom. And so the king provided wedding garments for everybody to come in. But here's someone who wanted to come in their own righteousness. They wanted to come in their own garment. I don't want the king's garment. I'm coming in my own garment. Do you know this parable comes from Zephaniah? Look, Zephaniah 1, 6 through 8. There are those who have turned back from the Lord. That means there are people who were serving the Lord, but they've turned their back. And there are those who have not sought the Lord, nor even inquired of him. Hold your peace at the presence of the Lord God, for the day of the Lord is at hand. The Lord has prepared a sacrifice. He's bid his guests, and it'll come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice, I'm going to punish the princes. I'm going to punish the king's own children and all who are clothed with strange apparel. There are people that are serving God, part of the body of Messiah, but they think they're attaining everything through their own righteousness. God owes them to come to the wedding. As a matter of fact, and I'm not speaking for ISO, I'm just speaking for myself, and I'm not saying this is the absolute truth. I'm just telling you what I see. Take it if you want it. Don't take it if you don't want it. I don't think the whole body of Messiah will become the bride. Eve came from a part of Adam. The whole body of Adam didn't become the bride. And Messiah is the second Adam. And I believe the bride is the part of the body that's closest to his heart. Okay? Now, at every wedding, there's a wedding party. Not everyone becomes the bride. Okay? And God wants to have a family. He's going to have kids. Okay? We're all the children of God. And I believe, well, I have another verse. Let me just, think about this. This is one verse that everybody has missed that I know of. I'm the only one. I don't want to say that, but I'm sure there's other people. But, shock and awe, look at this verse and think about it. Luke 12:35 through 37. Here's part of the body that's not the bride. This is just like the foolish virgins, but this is with the men. It says, let your loins be girded about and your lights burning, and you yourselves like unto men that wait for the Lord when he returns from the wedding. They weren't at the wedding. But after the wedding, when he returns again to get them, it says, when he comes and knocks, they may open unto him how? The Song of Songs. What happened? He knocked and knocked. She said, take a hike. He comes back, he knocks, and he knocks. He beats on the door. She had to take time to get all gussied up. She had to unlock the door. He's gone. This is like the foolish virgins. There will be people who are believers, but because their relationship isn't right, they get to go through the tribulation, but they still make it at the end as through the fire.
Thank you so much for supporting our ministry. If this has blessed you, please say a prayer for us. And if you would like to give, we have 3 ways that you can do that. You can give online at iso.org/donate, or text the word GIVE and the amount to 423-225-9022. That's 423-225-9022. You can also give through the mail at ISOW, 340 Paul Huff Parkway, Northwest, Cleveland, Tennessee, 37312. Thank you. God bless you, and may the Lord multiply your seed. Now back to this teaching from the International School of the Word.
It says, blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he comes, shall find them finally watching. And verily I say to you, he will gird himself, have them sit down to eat, and now he will come and serve them. But here's the other thing. How many know there was 5 wise virgins, 5 foolish virgins? None of them are the bride. The 5 wise virgins get to attend the wedding. He's not going to marry 5 wives. The 5 foolish virgins don't get to go to the wedding. They're cast into outer darkness. But guess what? When he comes back, if they're watching this time and open the door immediately, well, blessings upon you. You get to come and sit down and I'll serve you. Now that should kind of make us think we need to get close. There are so many people that are just happy, oh, I'm saved, forget everybody else. You know, and they don't even care about their relationship with God. I got Jesus in my pocket. I'll pull out. I got my get out of hell free card. Here it is, Song of Songs. Again, he tells her to get up. And he doesn't open the door. And again, in chapter 2, I sought him and I couldn't find him. Again, in chapter 5, I sleep. I'm at the point of death. Okay? And she says, I've taken off my coat. Look at that. I sleep, but my heart awakes. It's the voice of my beloved that's knocking. And he says, open the door. And she says, I've taken off my coat. Am I supposed to put it back on? Well, I've washed my feet. Am I supposed to go outside in the rain and get them all dirty? Oh, my beloved put his hand at the hole of the door. My bowels are moved for him. I rose up finally to open to my beloved, and I had to take the time to get my hands all dressed up with myrrh and sweet smelling myrrh on the handles of the lock. So what do we find in Matthew 25, verse 10 and 12? Concerning the virgins, the foolish virgins, while they went to go buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went into the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward also came the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, I don't know you. Here's the thing. If we look at 1 Corinthians chapter 3, 11 through 15, it talks about there's no foundation that can be laid other than Yeshua HaMashiach, or Jesus Christ. But look at what it says. If anyone builds upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stones, or you can build with wood, hay, and stubble. Every man's work will be made manifest. The day will declare it, because it will be revealed by what? Flood was the first time, fire is the second time. And the fire will try everyone's work of what sort it is. If anyone's work abides, which he has built on, he'll receive a reward. If any man's work is burned, he'll suffer loss, but he himself will be saved, yet so as by fire. There are going to be part of the body of Messiah that get to stay through the tribulation because they weren't ready. That doesn't mean they're not going to be saved, but they got to go through the fire. Matter of fact, look at Daniel. This is chapter 7, verse 13 through 14. He says, I saw in the night visions, and behold, there was one like the Son of Man, and he's coming on the clouds. And he came to the Ancient of Days. They brought him near before him, and there was given him dominion and glory and the kingdom, that all people, nations, languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which will not pass away, and a kingdom that will never be destroyed. Well, look at Revelation 14 through 16. I looked, and behold, a white cloud. Upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man. He's seeing the same thing Daniel saw. He has on his head a golden crown, and in his hand, now notice this, is a sharp sickle. Who's that referring to? The Messiah. The Messiah is the Son of Man that's going to come on the clouds, and he has a sharp sickle. And what is he going to do? He's going to reap the believers. And then another angel comes out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to the one who's sitting on the cloud, thrust in your sickle and reap, for the time is come to reap. The harvest of the earth is ripe, and he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. That's Messiah coming on the cloud, and he does a reaping. But watch what happens. Another angel comes out of the temple which is in heaven, and he also had a sharp sickle. And another angel comes out from the altar which had power over fire, and he cried with a loud voice to him that had this sharp sickle, and he tells this one to thrust in your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. This is speaking of the grape harvest, which happens in the fall and going into the winter. Okay? October, November, December. Okay, here we go. How many of you have ever studied the grape harvest in Israel? The grape harvest is always done at night. Why? Because it's cooler. You don't have the heat of the day. As a matter of fact, there's this gentleman, he's a winemaker in Israel, and he told Decanter.com that we harvest manually at night starting at 10 p.m., and we finish about 5 a.m., and the reason we harvest at night is mainly because of the temperature. The grapes get to the sorting table in the winery at 6 a.m., with a temperature of 64 degrees Fahrenheit. If we harvest it during the day, the temperature of the grapes could be 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which means the lost aromatic precursors and a higher oxidation rate. So harvesting at night means better complexity of the aromatics, better control for the start of the fermentation, and less oxidation of fruit. So they always harvest the grapes at night. Oh, but wait, there's more. We're going to look at the order of the grape harvest. Your sparkling wine grapes are harvested first because they have the lowest sugar levels. That's your Chardonnay and your Pinot Noir. Most of the white wine grapes make their way to crush. Viticulturally speaking, the red wine grapes are typically next in the harvest line, as they take a bit longer to reach full maturation. There are going to be believers that haven't reached full maturation. They're not ready yet. And then it says, finally, there's the ice wines make their way to crush after undergoing some serious dehydration on the vine to produce a raisin-like grape with highly concentrated sugars, perfect for dessert wines. So there are 3 grape harvests: your sparkling white wines, your red wines, and then your ice wines. And your ice wines are harvested more closer to the winter. All right? Now, here's the thing about those. Ice wine harvesting is done in the chilly midnight or early hours of the morning. Harvesting requires a large workforce, enough to pluck the entire crop in just a matter of a few short hours. So I believe in one sense there could be multiple raptures, multiple harvests. I believe that, here's one thing. How many of you know in Zechariah 14, all the nations that that survive, all the nations, I believe there's going to be human beings that survive the tribulation. That's what Zechariah 14 is talking to. There's still going to be humans. But then there's going to be us with a new body like Yeshua had. Right? And those people that survive the tribulation, they're going to get married, they're going to have kids, and it says in Ezekiel they'll live to be 100 years old and they think they've died young. Everyone's going to live a long time during millennium, but there will be humans just like us that are still alive through the millennial reign. But what God is going to do when he grabs the tares first, he's going to take the very evil, the very wicked, and he's going to rapture the evil people over to the Battle of Armageddon. And then we'll also be taken and we'll go to the Battle of Armageddon in Jerusalem. We'll meet there, and the Battle of Armageddon will take place. So there we have a rapture of the wicked. There's probably more than one. I heard that's what Brian teaches. I believe there very well could be more than one rapture of the wicked, but I also think there could be different raptures of the righteous as well. You got the rapture of those who are ready to open the door immediately when he comes in the Song of Songs. They're the white wine, and then you're going to have some that could be in the middle. That's the red wine, and you could have some at the very end, your ice wines. I think there very well could be multiple harvests. So people ask me, well, are you pre-trib, mid-trib, or post-trib? I say, I'm pan-trib. It'll pan out just fine. The main thing to me is, are you ready? For me personally, as I said, I almost died at least 8 times. Okay? I have absolutely no fear of death. It's just changing clothes. And for me, it's like, okay, God, just don't take me out before my mission's accomplished. I mean, that's just me. In the Torah, it talks about those who kept the baggage and didn't go to war. They got the same blessing as the ones who went to war. Some people are called to be firemen and firewomen, and others aren't. When the house is on fire, some's calling is to run for the hills. The other people is to run into the midst of the fire. Now, as far as me personally, if God takes me out tomorrow for that matter, or if he takes me out early, just don't take me before my mission's done. and he takes me out the end. Great. What do you want me to do? I want to be, get something done because it's not about me. That's the whole thing. We have to realize it's not about us. It's about doing what he wants. We're all going to die anyway. I don't want to die hiding behind a rock. So it's like, this is the Super Bowl of human history. Put me in the game, coach. I mean, but that's just me. That's my attitude. Not everyone necessarily is called to that. So some may very well go at the beginning, some in the middle, some in the end. It doesn't matter to me. The main thing is we shouldn't want to go until we've accomplished the task God's wanted us to do.